Hello and welcome back to Bannerlord Modded and our companion-focused playthrough. So anyway, when we left off, we had begun persuading a bunch of enemy lords to join us. And obviously now, here's the thing. My initial plan was to obviously go for this completely companion-based faction. And that's kind of what we've done, with the exception of the last episode where we, well, obviously decided to persuade a bunch of random AI vassals to join us. Now, the main reason why I'm doing that is obviously because of the fact that immortality is a bit of an issue. Now, what I've done is I've actually increased the chance for lords to die, and I've increased that by about 7%, because it was actually on 3% before. And now I'm kind of intrigued to see what actually happens with that, because if I increase it to 10%, surely something is going to happen, right? In a battle like this that is so incredibly large. I mean, this is against how many people? I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vassals on the enemy's side. So at least one of them might die. Not entirely sure on that just yet, of course. But we can only cross our fingers and sort of hope, right? Because here's the thing. If no one dies, because I haven't seen any enemy lords die either, have we? I'm actually not entirely sure. I think we've seen maybe one person. So that might be the reason. I don't know. Maybe there's... I don't know. Maybe there's just nothing I can do about that. Anyway, Polmark is getting a kill right there. Did you see that? He actually got a kill beforehand, which was pretty nice to see. Because it's been a while since we've actually seen him do anything, because obviously, you know, having so many companions, some are bound to, you know, fall by the wayside and are going to have attention drawn away from them, which is actually really sad in my opinion. So that's the reason why, if we do make a new series in the near future that focuses on, you know, on companions and their stories and things like that, it's going to be a much more personal affair in comparison to what this one was, which was a little bit more... Well, it wasn't intended to be this way, but Distinguished Service does tend to do that. It does tend to give you a whole wide variety of different companions. And yes, this is definitely the thing you want to be using if you want to create a faction that is entirely your own with random companions. But if you want to focus on companions and make them the focal point of your series or your playthrough, or if you're playing in your own private time, then it's very important to do it that way. It is very important to do it that way, because then you're going to have an XCOM, you know, XCOM-like experience. I think I've actually just seen an enemy lord die, by the way. Yeah, I think I just saw that. So, death is working. Yeah. Death is working, as you can no doubt tell, because of the fact that we just literally saw a lord die. But it seems like my companions just don't. So I'm not sure whether that's just because we are lucky or unlucky in some people's eyes potentially, or it just hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? It just hasn't happened. We just haven't been in a situation where one of my companions could potentially die. Because I think someone actually mentioned in the comments that you were in a battle of around 1,000 units or something along those lines, and only 1 or 2 of your units died after significant amounts of battling. And so that kind of makes me think, hey, yeah, maybe they have indeed reduced the chances of companions dying by a significant amount, which I think is actually a good change. Don't get me wrong, I think that's a good change. I just don't think it's a good change for the series. That's the only thing. Because obviously we kind of want the dramatic moments. I probably need to run away here. But yeah, we kind of need the dramatic moments of, oh, this guy, you know, he's died, you know, he's no longer with us, and so on. You know, that's the kind of thing that we were sort of hoping for right there. Obviously, we were not hoping for them to die, but in general, it would be cool for them to have heroic methods of exiting the series, in other words, you know, so someone holding out against a wide variety of different opponents. Oh, wow, this is actually kind of bad. I'm in a situation where I could possibly die, Let me, oh dear. This is bad. Okay, let me just try to run. I'm literally just going to try to run. And I'm going to try to run right back to my forces so that my shield is on my back. Hopefully it's going to be able to reduce the amount of damage I take. Indeed, maybe even blocking for me. At least a little bit. It seems like they've actually given up the chase, which is rather nice. And I'm going to get on this Patinian war mount. Bear in mind, this is very injured. So if it does get damaged in any way, we're probably going to be dead ourselves. But it seems like everything's working alright. Not too bad. I'm going to be able to get a couple of kills with my bow now, at least. If I can. There we go. And I believe that is indeed that. There we go. So this was the force that was attempting to besiege Sargot, and obviously I have tried to interfere with them as best I can to make it so that they are ineffective. And it seems like we've done exactly that, so that's actually very nice. Anyway, let's go for those. There we are. Oh yes, also, thank you to those of you in the comments that actually told me about the fact that, yeah, this guy died, by the way. Yeah, that guy died. But yeah, as I was saying, thank you to those of you in the comments that told me that you can speak to various companions through conversation and actually tell them to then take over the engineering, for example, in my case. So you could literally do that, and then you're going to have no issues whatsoever, which is actually fantastic. So thank you very much for letting me know about that, because I obviously have kind of faded away from speaking to companions in that way, because obviously in Warband, you would basically do that every single time. There wasn't a menu for that. You know, you would need to go and you need to speak to someone, and then they would tell you, oh yes, I am capable of doing this and that and this and that. But yeah, in Bannerlord you have a menu for everything. So you don't really need to do that if you don't want to, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I kind of don't really speak to these guys. But that's really nice to know. So thank you very much for telling me, because that means that what I can do is I can basically go through everyone. Guzid. Guzid seems to be the guy that I need to speak to. So let me actually speak to him. He has 300 in engineering. There we go. I would like to assign you a new role. Yes, there we are. Fantastic. So now he's going to take care of the engineering, and now I no longer need to worry about my siege equipment being incredibly slow. And someone also mentioned that I should probably sell some of my... Indeed, yes. I should probably sell some of my harnesses, because, as you can see, I'm no doubt getting a little bit full and a little bit weighty in terms of saddles. It doesn't seem like that's the case, actually, hilariously enough. It must be weapons. I would assume it's weapons, most likely. So I'm going to just sell all of this. And actually, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just reset that real fast, because what I want to do is I want to auto-equip, but I need to be careful about this guy specifically, because he's a bowman, of course. And then we'll do the rest. There we go. So now everyone is going to be equipping some new things, which is all great. This guy has no... Yes, he has no saddle. Of course he has no saddle, because we literally just sold all of it. Yeah, so he's not going to use a horse. This guy's just not going to use a horse. And then we're just going to sell the rest, and we'll sell all of this. There we go. And I'm going to go into the smithy real fast, and we'll see if I can maybe increase my smithing skill just a little bit. Also, I might like to get some new parts. As you can see, we do have a couple of extra weapons that we have not seen before, so I can gain a couple of extra new parts here. And yeah, there we go. Calradic Mace and another one. Falchion. I can't believe that we have not smelted a Falchion before, really. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, let's just see what I can do here. Let's just get some more charcoal as well. Seems like that's really, really good, by the way. in for leveling up and things like that. So let's just get a whole bunch of that as well. Just continue converting things. And there we have it. Okay, so now let's forge something. I don't really care what it is. I basically... Oh yeah, someone also mentioned that I should probably make it so that I own the things. So in other words, show only unlocked pieces. Thank you very much for telling me about this, because generally I don't tend to explore these filters at all. I literally just go through and see what I want to make, and then I just do that. But this is obviously going to be very, very helpful for me now, because then I can basically just go to what we currently have unlocked, and then I don't have to worry about, you know, scrolling through the entire list or anything. So that is very helpful, so thanks for that. Anyway, let's have a look. We've got some grips here. I want two-handed only. There's only one. I guess we'll just go for something along these lines, and we'll just increase this a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm thinking that looks pretty nice. Let's make it. 15 skill points, 13 skill points, 9 skill points, and 8 skill points. And there we go. Now we are done. We're at 230, and that is all I really wanted to do, because we need to get to 225 to be able to get the next perk that increases our endurance, I believe it is. Yeah, I think it is endurance. So trade penalty is halved for selling smithed weapons. That's actually kind of amazing. I would like to see exactly how much we can sell these weapons for once I take this particular perk. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go into the marketplace real quick, and we're going to just see. Okay, so we could sell these for a grand total of 27,000. Okay, so 27,000 is not a terribly bad amount, to be honest. I think that's actually a pretty significant amount of money. And now if we were to take this, the trade penalty being halved, I'm going to see exactly what we get from that. And also I'm going to increase my endurance by 1. So now we have 10 in endurance. Okay, so let's have a look. 38,000. Ooh, now that perk actually made a huge difference. Gotta say, I very much appreciate that. I gotta say that is actually very useful, and definitely something you want to consider if you're making a smithing character of any kind. It seems to be very, very helpful. And that added what, 11,000? Yeah, 11,000 to the value of the weapon. That's pretty crazy, if I gotta say. Jeez, whew. I am actually kind of surprised about that, to be honest. I thought to myself, it's probably gonna add, 5,000 or something, but no, it actually adds a whole bunch more. Anyway, let's go back in here, just to see if there's anything else that I need to smelt, because you never know whether there might be something new that I missed. For example, that light lance right there. And is there anything else? No, there is nothing else. Okay, so what I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to go into the trade screen, and we're going to sell all of our weapons. Yeah, all of our weapons. 327,000. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. We're going to clear out the trader. 48,000 is the only thing that we miss, which is not really that big a deal to me. And there we go. That's basically what I wanted to do. I wanted to get over 1 million gold once again, and now we can move on and see what we can do elsewhere. But now that we have full endurance, the only thing we need to spec into now with attribute points is cunning. And apart from that, I would like to be able to increase some other things as well. For example, I don't really need to increase smithing any further either, as you can see, so that's not really necessary. But I might like to increase riding skill, or indeed two-handed. I mean, obviously two-handed is definitely something that I might want to do, because we are not yet maxed out. And we do need 250 to be able to make that work. Anyway, Rams and Siege Towers have 33% more hit points. That sounds pretty good to me, so I'm probably going to take that. Alright, let's go to the castle over here, and we're going to try and take that. That should be relatively simple, to be honest. I don't think that that's going to be too difficult. And, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should just literally speak to the person that owns this castle and just do it through that. Because I'm thinking maybe that's easier, because what I can do is I can pretty much just give them a castle. I can buy the castle from them at the same time and just give them a castle to rule over. So generally they're not losing any land, so they're going to be happy with that. And they're also going to have a means of gaining some additional cash. Not a huge amount of cash, but a small amount, you know what I mean? So it might actually make sense. I don't know. Maybe that's something to consider at some point. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, there we go. Let's give him charm skill. Let's give this guy riding. No, let's not give him riding skill. Let's give him smithing. Actually, I think that might be kind of fun. All right, so we didn't lose anyone once again, but we have proven now that lords can die, because we obviously saw in the previous fight that an enemy lord did actually, you know, exit stage right. So suffice it to say. So yeah, that's obviously going to make a pretty big difference, but I can only assume that it's not a bug then, and that it is literally just a case of we have been incredibly lucky, or something else has happened. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to stop talking about the whole immortality thing now, because if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're going to see how it goes, because at this point in time, I'm actually thinking that my kingdom is really, really strong. You can see here we're almost at 14,000. Let's take a look at some of the other statistics that some of the other factions have. And you can see here the Crusade are looking... the Crusade. The Sturgians, surprisingly enough, are doing very well. And the Azerai are, of course, the strongest, as you might expect. But only by a small margin. Only by a small margin. So, yeah. But generally, at this point, I would definitely say that we have a pretty major advantage over most of the enemy factions in the game. And I'm not entirely sure if they are going to be able to keep that up. You know what I mean? So basically, if there comes a time where, you know, our faction is so incredibly powerful that we cannot be stopped, then that is basically going to be the end of the series at that point. Because if it's obvious that we are going to be achieving victory, there is really no point in continuing then, right? At least that's my perspective on things anyway. I'm going to see if I can maybe take Galend here. This is going to be a very difficult siege, which is obviously my intention. I would very much like to make this somewhat tricky. So we're just going to build a bunch of trebuchets. And we're going to see how we do, because I'm going to bombard them a little bit. I don't really want to bombard them a super harsh amount so that all of their walls get destroyed or anything like that. But I would like to be able to reduce their numbers a little bit. Seems like they're actually reducing my numbers much more than I'm reducing theirs, which is actually somewhat disappointing. But should I just go in? I'm thinking maybe. Okay, let's just go in. Let's just go in and see what we can do, because I'm thinking at the moment I don't really want to lose too many casualties to siege bombardment, because siege bombardment obviously basically doesn't do anything with the exception of getting the walls down. And if you want to pay that cost in troops, then obviously, you know, go right ahead and do that. But generally I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that right now, because I think we have a suitable enough army to be able to achieve victory. But it is very much a case of, well, can we get on the walls without losing too many units in the process? That's the only question that we need to ask ourselves. Because if we lose too many, then obviously... What is actually going on here with my accuracy? Is that guy dead? That guy's dead. You see that? He's standing up. It looks like he's standing up. That is super weird. Okay, hello there. I mean, he's got a bolt right through his face, so I probably should have, you know, kind of realized that something was up and that he wasn't moving. But I literally thought that he was just having an AI blunder or whatever. But yeah, I mean, look at that. It looks like he's standing up, right? Is that just me? Oh, that is very funny. Okay, well, whatever the case, I am getting shot, so I should probably make my way over to somewhere else, speed things up a little bit, not to phase in through the castle walls. Thank you very much. Don't really want to do that right now. Although that could be used as a roleplay element, by the way. So, for example, if you have like a, I don't know, like a roguery-based character or some kind of bandit-based character, maybe an infiltrator or some kind of spy roleplay that you're doing with your character, then you might be able to say, oh yes, I snuck into the town before my forces laid siege, and now as a result I can run around behind enemy lines and, you know, stab them in the back and so on and so forth, you know. So there's always some way to sort of explain it away, but for me specifically at the moment it just doesn't make sense, you know. There's just no way that someone like Mr. Barney here would be able to get into the walls without, you know, utilizing a siege tower or something like that. So I can't really phase through there and then just explain it in some kind of roleplay fashion. It just doesn't really work. But, you know, it would be cool nevertheless to sort of do that sometimes, maybe. I don't know, maybe I bribed someone because I'm a trading kind of character. Maybe I bribed the guards or something to let me through before the siege began or something along those lines. But yeah, anyway, let's just shoot these guys a little bit. Oh, I'm getting shot myself. Hopefully I don't get killed. There's a lot of enemies in here, by the way. You got to bear that in mind. There are a huge amount of enemies in the garrison, so obviously they're probably going to be quite vigorous in their defense. Well, I'm getting shot from a whole variety of different angles, which is obviously not great. Dear me. Okay, well, oh yeah, actually, you know what? I've forgotten to mention this in so many episodes now. I really don't know whether the mod creator is actually still checking out the series, but I am using his. I think one of their mods is actually used in the series. I think it's the Bloody Hell mod, which basically improves the textures and increases the amount of gore / blood in the game. And you can see these textures on the floor right here. So, okay, now here's the deal. All right, I think you asked me for feedback a while ago, and I apologize for the delay on that. I literally am just a very forgetful kind of idiotic person. So, you know, hopefully you'll understand that. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, you asked me whether there was anything that you could change about the mod. Okay, so the only thing that I personally would want to see from the Bloody Hell mod is literally more. That's it. I just want to see, more blood. I want to see more of it on the ground, everywhere, surrounding all of these enemies. Because let's face it, if someone has, I don't know, and I'm going to get a little bit descriptive here, but generally, if someone has an arm cut off or a leg cut off or even their head cut off, there's going to be a lot of blood, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of blood. So generally, that is literally the only thing that I can really think of to suggest for you to add, you know, for you to change, whatever. Generally, that's, in my opinion, what would be something really cool. Because at the moment, I think, yeah, it's definitely looking really nice right now. You can see these textures on the floor right here. It's looking really, really cool right now, but I mean, you see the amount of bodies, right? You see the amount of bodies. I mean, I'm actually obviously not entirely sure whether you're even able to increase the amount. Yeah, I don't know the specifics behind modding, but for example here, this looks pretty good, right? This looks pretty good. There's quite a lot of blood here. There's blood staining the plants and everything. You can see that right here. I think that's very cool. That's a really nice effect. However, there were so many enemies here. There were so many enemies here that you can kind of imagine that there would be so much more blood on the floor. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, that is completely up to you, because you are the creator, of course. But for me, I would just like to see more, because at the moment it looks so good as it is. I would just like to see more of it. That's all. That's the only thing that I would change. Yeah, there you go. Good work on the mod, because I think it's great. Anyway, we're going to be taking all these people prisoner, and then I will attempt... Oh, wow. 800 prisoners, really? Okay, that's actually quite a significant amount, isn't it? Okay, let's claim this fief. Because, of course, we are going to go into the dungeon. And we're going to be placing all of them in there. There we go. That's looking real nice. And then improved garrison. Can I click on that? There we go. Thank you. And what did we just take? Galend. Yes, we did. There we are. And let's put 378, because 378 is a perfectly acceptable specific number that was completely randomly chosen. And there we go. That is looking pretty nice. Let's just upgrade this. Yeah, it seems like this town was a little bit further along in its development as well, which I got to say is really nice to see, because usually these towns are basically just left alone doing some random stuff. But yeah, that's actually kind of nice to see now. All right, so what we want to do now is... Oh, declare war on the Sturgians, apparently. That is what we're going to do. All right, you know what I'm going to do first? Let's take a look. Let's go to Barney's page real quick. I'm going to see who my friends are. Okay, this guy's a vassal. This guy's a vassal. Okay, this guy's a vassal of Sturgia. So I'm going to literally send these guys messengers. And I'm going to attempt, if I can, before war begins, if they're not already in an army or anything like that, because let's face it, they might very well be. I'm going to attempt to try and persuade them to join us, okay? So before the war begins, I would like them to join us, and I'll give them some fiefs and all that wonderful stuff. So let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, Calatil. We might actually get Calatil to join us. If she joins us, this is going to be a pretty big deal, because she is the leader of a tier 5 clan, as far as I'm aware, and she has a lot of people that could potentially assist in various things. I'm actually thinking of giving her Galend, because that is literally hers, I believe, originally, I think. But I could also give her just some random castle somewhere. Verixand Castle? I could just give her Verixand Castle, I suppose. I'm actually going to give her, I think, 100,000. Boom. There you go. So she has now joined us, which is great. That is actually fantastic. That is really, really good, because Calatil is one of the stronger vassals, in my opinion. And we're just going to let the game run a little bit. Can my messengers please reach the other guys? Because I would like to be able to speak to them before the war breaks out, because I can assume that the war is going to get pushed forward. I mean, pushed through, shall we say. But it seems like my messengers are taking a very long time to reach there for some reason. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, well, it seems like I am going to... Yeah, look at that. Right now we are stronger than the Sturgians. Well, yes, Darim, but generally we are stronger than everyone. Oh, you imbecile. Why is he doing that? Oh, well, never mind. You know, to be fair, I do understand where he's coming from, to be honest, because we are very close by to the Sturgians, but obviously we're very close by to a number of different factions. But, yeah, I would have loved to have been able to speak to those other guys first. But obviously that did not happen, which is kind of sad. But, yeah, Hongard Castle, how is that doing? Why did no one take this? Who was besieging this, but then they just left it all of a sudden? That's kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, wait a minute. Did the game just crash? No, it actually did. Are you serious right now? Okay, wait a minute. What actually caused the crash? Oh, okay. A literal Tailworlds Tailworlds thing. Okay, yeah, that's can I attempt to continue, please? Can I save? No. Alright, so here we are again. Let me actually just make sure. Yeah, okay, so we are actually recording. Okay, great. I guess I was thinking to myself, wait a minute. Are we actually recording? Yeah, we are actually recording. Okay, fantastic. So, I'm actually going to send a messenger to Calatil once again, because this was actually before I was able to persuade her. So hopefully what we're going to be able to do is repeat the process once again, because if not, then I'm going to be very, very disappointed. And that's not going to be very good. But no, it seems like it's working. Okay, that's quite nice. And we're going to give her Varric Castle once again. And I'm going to also give her 100,000 once more. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So that is now all good. And it seems like this person over here, who's this? MODDED. Okay. Let's do it, guys. Come on. Let's go. Let's take this. Hopefully it's not going to crash again. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, look at that. We're all going in. Okay, that's fantastic. I don't know why MODDED quit this before. This was kind of weird for him to just stop the siege when he had such an overwhelming advantage. But what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to fast forward this because I don't see any point to me going in there because there are just so many allies to eliminate the opponent. This is going to be a super easy siege as it is, and it will maybe give an opportunity for some of our companions to perish, maybe. I mean, obviously, it's highly unlikely that that's going to happen in general, but, you know. There we go. Some people did manage to escape, which is to be expected, of course, but that is really not a big deal in the least. There we go. Okay, so MODDED is very, very happy with us. I'm actually just going to let the prisoners go to the other army. I'll take my fair share of the loot. And then we will leave Hongard Castle to the vote, I think. Maybe something like that. Okay, so we can actually make peace with the Vlandians right now. I'm thinking we will probably do that because they're going to give us a massive amount of cash in tribute. And there's the owner, MODDED. He has nothing, so I will give this to MODDED. I don't know why he has nothing. Obviously, whichever fief I gave him has now been taken or something along those lines. Anyway, oh, okay. The Vlandians do not want to pay us any tribute whatsoever, and we have taken basically every single one of their fiefs, which is rather amusing to say the least, but okay. That is perfectly fine. I guess I don't mind. We're going to just leave them the way they are then, and I'm just going to send... Okay, apparently I can't send a messenger. Okay, apparently I can't send a messenger to those guys. I think the reason why my messenger didn't reach them before is because they were just defeated in battle. It seems like that is indeed the case because they are looking injured, as you can see. Look at that. He's clutching his side. I can assume that he was just defeated by someone. I think the Battanians... Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, the Battanians are still in the game. So, yeah, I think the Battanians were probably the people that managed to succeed in defeating some Sturgians. Because I think the Sturgians are actually at war against them as well. So, let me just take a quick look. Yes, they are at war against the Battanians as well. So, that obviously makes sense. Alright, well, that's not too bad then, I suppose. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at some of the other people that we could potentially persuade. So what about if we get some Azarai? Should we get some Azarai, maybe? Let me see. Yalas, I can send a messenger to him. This guy, I can send a messenger to him too. This fellow. Kareth is usually a really, really good vassal. Thule apparently was taken prisoner. It says he was last seen at Roval 3 days ago. But I don't know where he is now. Taken prisoner by Sicard of the Vlandians. Okay, that's actually really weird because I would not have any clue where the Vlandian army is now because you can see here that it's basically, well, I mean, how am I gonna track them down? There are no fiefs that the Vlandians have, so it's basically impossible for me to track them down. I would love to be able to break him out of jail. I mean, if he's in any jail, that is. I mean, he might not even be in one, you know? He might just be running around with some random vassal, and if that is indeed the case, then he's inevitably going to be released sometime soon. So I shouldn't have to worry about him too much. Anyway, we're just going to go in here real fast, take this castle, and then we'll hopefully have our messengers arrive at their destinations, and then we'll be able to speak to those vassals too. Wait a minute, do you see that right there? In the chat log, in the text box, Morinon Scarlet has died in battle. Who's that? Is that one of our companions? I think that actually might be one of our companions. Let me have a look. Yeah, he did. Look at that. Okay, so they are not immortal. They are actually really capable of dying. He died in battle in 1089 at the age of 32. He was reputed to be decent and kind. He was one of our clan leaders. Yes, he was one of our clan leaders. And he was last seen at Nevyansk Castle. He was one of my companions? He died here? I didn't even see that. Okay, literally, I thought he was actually a clan leader, but apparently he died at Nevyansk Castle, which is the siege that we just did. So, that's really, really intriguing. So yeah, companions can actually die, and we now have confirmation on that. So that is really, really good. And yeah, I mean, that's the point. Now I have no idea what's really going on, because oh, yes, because I've been saying that they're immortal, but now they're not immortal, and now what am I supposed to... well, whatever. I'll try and find a way to let people know about that. Anyway, let's just... Oh, wow, this guy's got a massive amount of money. He's never going to give us anything at all, is he? I'm going to give him Galend and a bunch of castles? Yeah, that's not really gonna work, is it? Let's give him a bunch of money. Nope, that's not gonna make any difference. He doesn't care about money, that's for sure. Okay, well, what about if I don't give him any of these castles and I give him 2 towns? Boom. No, he doesn't care about that either. Okay, wait a minute. 2 towns and some money? How about that? Yeah, I'm liking this deal, actually. I'm not liking that one. Yeah. Okay. I'm liking this a little bit more. What about that? I can't get both of his castles. I might be able to get one of them. Yeah, I can get one of them for this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for something like this. Now, obviously, this is really, really risky, because if he decides that he wants to leave after the fact, then he's going to be taking Sargot, Galend, and Ein Balik Castle with him, and that's obviously not going to be good, but let's try it. Okay, so he's joined us. That's absolutely fantastic, because here's the thing. We have gained territory in the form of Habyar, which is all the way down there, of course, which is another town, which is great. And we also now have someone that is going to look after these towns over here. And he's also joined us, of course. So we have even more faction strength as a result of that action, which is really, really good. And that's the main reason why I'm sending off these messengers, so that I can make these kinds of backroom deals and hopefully actually have them work really, really nicely for us. Okay, the owner of Habyar. Okay, so we can actually decide who this goes to. Urgion apparently is the guy, so we're just going to give that to him. And hopefully he's going to do a good job looking after it. That's all I can say. Where's my other messenger, by the way? I thought I sent off 2 messengers. Seems like the other guy might have gotten killed or taken prisoner or something like that. I don't actually know, but seems like he's nowhere to be seen, which is kind of weird. Anyway, this guy's now joined us, which is fantastic. This guy, Medini Castle. Okay, I'm very much hoping to find someone that owns more towns, if you know what I mean. So we would like to get more towns under our belt, if at all possible. Maybe we can do this guy. Nope, he's still injured, unfortunately. Okay, we won't be able to do that then. Who else can we get? Oh, this guy. Ah, this guy's a mercenary. Okay, so he's a mercenary. I have no idea how Thule was able to get himself taken prisoner by a mercenary company. That makes no sense whatsoever, but oh well, it happens. It happens. I don't see anyone else that I really want to persuade at the moment. Maybe this guy? Nope, he is also unreachable. What about this fellow? He is being clever and roguish. That is his reputation, clever and roguish. That sounds pretty good to me. And we have another castle ownership to go. I'm going to give that to Calatilt. There's a bunch of bunch of castles that really do need to go to these people, because I mean they're going to have a lot of costs that they need to cover, and the castles are probably not going to be good. Oh, a rebel faction has emerged. The rebels demand that their lands be allowed to secede from the kingdom. They are led by Ingauth. Oh, that's not really good. Okay, yeah, this is never going to happen in a million years, in my opinion, but Ingaltha is the one leading this, which is to be expected, of course. He is an absolute... he's always the thorn in our side, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely every single time. Okay, where is my messenger? Seems like my messenger's taking a huge amount of time to reach him, but I suppose Azerai territory is pretty far away, so that kind of makes sense, and he is indeed in an army, so I will be unable to try to persuade him this time around. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to try and make peace with the Vlandians with a good deal in the next episode, and hopefully we're going to be able to continue on to the Sturgians. But now we know companions can die, so that's at least confirmed now. It's just a very minor chance for that to happen. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.